Hello, what's up? OCD Mikey here for another episode of the Mikey Show. And I know I'm making it normally. This is mornings with Mikey. I'm making this a little later in the day. Again, thank you all so much for your continued support with sales. I have just been shipping like a freaking banshee. That's all. It seems like that's all I do is ship boxes these days. So I'm coming back to make a quick video. But I first wanted to thank everybody for your business. It's been very good. You guys are showing me your support by giving business. I want to talk about the difference today between what luxury level hi-fi is, luxury level audio, because there's the whole window, if you will, or the whole view of what the high-end audio is, and there is a point where you have high-end audio, and then there's a line where you get into something different that is like luxury level audio. Luxury level, and how I describe it, or what the difference is luxury level is where there's a whole different view taken on the fit and finish. Really, it boils down to fit and finish. Now, and so what I'm talking about is like chassis in terms of components, or cabinets in terms of speakers. A lot of speakers are just boxes, man. They just have a freaking panel thing and just on the front, and they're boxes, and there's nothing special about that. Okay, doesn't mean they can't sound good. Okay, you can make a box sound great, but the difference between something like that is made with MDF and maybe sprayed in a spray booth with paint, and something, say, like a beautiful lacquered veneer without seams, you don't even know how they put it together. That's a different level of fit and finish. Okay. And so to compare the two, it's almost it doesn't even make sense to compare the two, because you're comparing two different things. You're trying to compare like a Bentley to a standard production Mercedes, or a standard production, something that's like Mercedes. There's just different levels of care that are taken in the fit and the finish, and it's for a different client. And so there's nothing wrong with either one, but there is a distinct difference in the luxury level, and it's plain to see. The one of my favorite things to use as a comparison, even though I don't know much about watches, is watches, because I've started to pay a little bit more attention. You can have your tool watch, right, which would be like let's take Fisher and Fisher, for instance. Okay, the stone speaker. It's beautiful. It's a high-end product. It would be like a Rolex, like a $10,000, $15,000 Rolex Submariner or whatever. It's tough. It's maybe it would be like a Panerai submersible, something like that, where it's very well built. It's Fisher and Fisher. It's not normal materials. It's very it's a higher level build, but it is not the super luxury level, which would be like a Lang and Son, or some of those other Patek, maybe, something that is at just a different level of build. One is a tool. It's meant for durability. It's strong. It's burly. It is definitely a premium product, but it's not the luxury level. And then you get the luxury level, which is like beautiful, gorgeous, and the fit and finish on the thing is absolutely stunning, and the materials are stunning. So it would be like comparing Fisher and Fisher and Tad would be two, for my explanation here, it would be two perfectly terrific brands to compare. The Tad would be the luxury level. Now, Fisher and Fisher is absolutely a premium product, but if I get up on a Fisher and Fisher and I get close and I inspect, I can see the little seams, even though they're barely visible. I can find a seam. There's no way I'm finding a seam on a damn Tad. There is no, you can't see it. They cover it. It's lacquered. It's like, it's a different level. So I wanted to point out that there is a distinction in the high end between the luxury high end and then just we'd call maybe the reference high end, or the tool watch, right? The diver's watch, and then the dress watch, right? They're two different things. Same with shoes. We could talk about fine Italian shoes, or handmade, logging boots or something like that, versus a country boot, made a UK made, what do they call that leather? I'm dropping the name. The Cordovan, Cordovan leather. Just like they're two different things for two different purposes, right? So it's the same with HiFi. And so I just wanted to point out that distinction, that there are two different fit and finishes. The thing sometimes where it gets murky is, in my opinion, when you have that high-end fit and finish, you really should have the sound to complement it. So if you're going to charge a high level for a beautiful fit and finish, you need to follow through, in my opinion, with the sonic that matches your fit and finish. That goes for products too. AGD, prime example. Okay, Alberto sent me these amplifiers. Beautiful Class D with a tube, very novel, something I've never seen before. I pulled the amplifier out of its case and it was so beautiful. I wouldn't listen to it at that point. It was something so unique and different that my expectations were up here. I called up Alberto. I sent him an email. I remember I said, dude, I'm not listening to this amplifier right now because my emotions, my expectations are too high by how this looks. And I said, I hope to God you made an amplifier that sounds as good as it looks, because it really looks the part. I plugged it in the next day. I listened to it. Thank God it was on the point. It was as good as it looked. Same with Tad. Tad, you look at it, you go, oh, really? My worry was 32.5 for a pair of floor standers, right? But I knew the brand, so I didn't even need to hear it. I knew about the brand beforehand. I said, send me those floor standers, and I'll buy a pair for my demo, for the demos, to show people. And I was a little bit nervous. I'm like, I hope these things, when I put them in my room, I hope they sound the way I've always known Tad sounds. But up until then, I'd only heard the big R1s and the CR ones, right? Those were the only ones I'd ever heard. Now, this was not the reference series. This was the compact evolution series. Well, I put it in, and sure enough, yes. Okay, I was like, phew. Okay, so I can tell customers 32.5 and not feel like it's a joke, right? It is, you're getting something for that extra money. And that's where the luxury product comes in. You should get something extra for that premium. You should get something. Look at Jeff Rowland amplifiers. You look at the chassis. His amp's only 15 grand for the new amp that came out. But when you look at that chassis, that's every bit of a $25,000, $30,000 chassis. I've seen two. I mean, we looked at $60,000, $50,000 preamp the other day that didn't have a chassis anywhere close to the Rowland chassis. What I'm saying is, when you pay that extra money, you should receive the extra luxury fit and finish, as far as I'm concerned. Otherwise, price it lower and make it commensurate with the type of case or the type of fit and finish that you have. In the case of Fisher & Fisher, it is commensurate. You get a much lower price for a Fisher & Fisher because it doesn't have the same fit and finish as, say, a Tad does. Thank God the Tad comes through with that, the sonic that is like no other. And same with AGD. AGD is the sound of an amplifier that is like no other. Jeff Rowland amps, an amplifier that sounds like no other. Playback Designs, a DAC that sounds like no other. So you're really getting something for that premium. And then there is the fit and finish thing, which is a visual and a touch thing. And that just means it's a different buyer, and it's a different client with different means. Okay. I know it's hard for some of you to understand, $32,000 monitors, or understand a $24,000 DAC, but trust me, there's a lot of people out there that is within their means. And at some certain point, you don't want something in your room that is not of a certain beauty. You want something that is Tad beauty or better, and you don't want something that's a painted cabinet. A painted cabinet cannot compete. A paint finish cannot. You can cover up anything with the paint finish, okay? But a paint finish can't compete with like olive wood, like the Tad is, or pure slate or granite or something like that, which is you can't do that with paint, right? So in certain occasions, people are maybe masquerading as in the luxury, and that's where it kind of can get murky. So again, This all boils down to buyer beware and understand what you're getting into. But I wanted to take this second to just describe what luxury audio is. I think I'm at my point. 10 minutes. I shouldn't go any longer than that. Thanks for joining, you guys. See you.